The movie starts with the scene where two city workers are running inside the sewage from an invisible monster. They try to run away unharmed, but the monster catches both of them and eliminates them. A third worker sees that they start running away. The monster comes out of the sewage and tries to catch the other workers as well, but he barely runs away with his life. Here a group of mystical magicians is standing with their weapons. They put the spell on the invisible monster from the underworld, after which the monster is now invisible to the naked eye. As the monster has now eliminated two humans, he knew the taste of human beings and could now have been allowed to roam the city freely, so they decided to eliminate him. Wong, a magician, put a spell on the beast to conceal him from everyone except the magicians. The monster ran freely on the road, hopping the traffic and eliminating innocent people, and the magicians trying to eliminate it. During this chase, a famous doctor named Dr. Strange was also driving his car on the road and saw the monster, even though a spell had hidden him from every commoner's eye. Dr. Strange was shocked and hit the pavement before he could start his car again and run in the other direction on the monster. The magicians were able to eliminate him and vanished into thin air right in front of them. Dr. Strange could not believe what he had seen and tried to run away from the scene as soon as possible. The magicians there also noticed that the doctor could see them even after such a powerful spell. In the next scene, Dr. Stephen Strange, a famous neurologist, can be seen arguing with his assistant about the potential cases. Dr. Strange says that he would only take cases that pay well and the medical journals would be interested in, and he shuts the door in Carrie's face. At the same time, Oliver enters Dr. Strange's office and tells him that he has been missing rounds and not helping his other colleagues, and they are all angry at him. He asks him to play nice with others to work efficiently and orders him to go meet Dr. Gina. In the next scene, Dr. Strange goes to the coma ward to meet Dr. Gina, where he is met with witty remarks and taunts. Dr. Strange stands his ground by saying that he works in this hospital on important cases, ones that no one touches, with a 10-meter pole, and his main priority is to get donations in this hospital. He further said that money runs this hospital and keeps its doors open all the time. Gina sighs and takes him to the coma ward, where the number of coma patients is rising day by day. It is the same all over the city. There is no cure and the doctors are unable to help them and their families. She asks him to help the kids. He then examines a sick kid, and suddenly the kid wakes up and touches his shoulder. As soon as that happens, Dr. Strange sees a vision of a burning huge monster as if the girl was living in a nightmare. He then comes to it and runs out of the ward, breathing heavily, saying there is nothing he can do to help the kids. He then rushes out. The next scene starts with a memory of Stephen Strange with his sister April Strange putting on some makeup. He swoops in and teases her sister and shows his affection for his sister. They both were just messing around, and all of a sudden April feels a throbbing pain in her head. And the memory ends here. The next scene starts in the present day with a fiery demon chasing him on the road, and he sees children standing in the street like zombies. To stop himself from hurting those kids, he controls his car, but is unable to. He meets a horrible accident. He fell off the cliff in his car. The next morning he woke up in the hospital injured. Dr. Gina, her colleague, was there, and she informs him that he had been sleeping for 3 days now, and this accident caused him severe injury to both his hands. This means that he won't be able to perform any surgeries, which he loved to do and was arrogant about. He tells her to leave him alone and sobs quietly. After a few days, Dr. Strange gets to his home, where his chauffeur opens the door for him and offers his help. However, Strange rejects his help and goes on. He gets to his door, but is unable to open it with his injured hands. At last, he had to call for help, which broke him and he fell to his knees. He was not even able to do his regular chores like shaving and eating. He frustrated calls out to everyone for help, but gets a rejection from everywhere. He still keeps on looking for a cure that was not available, so he looked for a miracle at whatever cost. He flies all over the world looking for help, but no one could offer him what he wanted. This caused him to go broke. He had no money, no friends, no family, no job, and no surgery. He felt everything was lost and tried to commit the unthinkable. He jumped off the bridge, and when he opened his eyes, he was standing on the bridge. He could not believe what had just happened. Wong, a sorcerer, appeared out of the dark and introduced himself and told the doctor that there was one cure available and he would find it deep in the mountains of Tibet. Next, Strange goes to Gina and tells her that he is going away in search of a cure in the mountains of Tibet. He then says goodbye and leaves, after which Dr. Stephen Strange can be seen in the freezing cold in the mountains trying to find his way to the said cure, and eventually finds his way to the destination. He sees a beautiful city there and meets Wong again. Wong tells him about the Sorcerer Supreme, what they do, and everything about who they are. Wong then introduces Strange to the Sorcerer Supreme. Strange begs the Sorcerer Supreme to cure him of his injury. However, the Old One says that there is no cure for his physical injury, but for his spiritual injury. He tries to get closer to the Old One to urge him, but Mordo incapacitates him before that. The Old One asks him if he is willing to do what it takes, and he replies with an affirmation, and gets permission to stay and complete his training there. Wong takes him to an empty room and tells him this empty room is his, and that comfort is a privilege that needs to be earned. Meanwhile, all the other sorcerers are going somewhere and Wong asks about it. They tell them that the shadow monsters will be attacking the city at night and they are all going to fight them. Wong offers his services and goes along with them. When they reach there, Wong tells everyone to stay in the light. They won't come in the light. In the fight, shadow monsters attack them, and they eliminate them all. However, a few of the sorcerers got injured. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange is told to brush and sweep the floor. Next, Wong tells the Sorcerers Supreme that these monsters are roaming and attacking around freely without any fear, to which the Old One says Dormammu is getting stronger every day, and that he knows something they do not. Dormammu is a magical being who is corrupted with dark magic and dwells in the underworld. He has been sent there and locked away, and he has been trying to get out ever since. Next, in Doctor Strange's room, he finds a picture of him and his sister and remembers the time she was sick and no doctor would help them. They all said they could not save her sister's life. Strange then tells her sister that if they won't operate on her, he will after 6 months when he gets his degree. Doctor Strange's training keeps on going daily. He is told to break a wall, and every day he breaks the wall, and every other day they rebuild it for him to break again. Getting frustrated with all this, he leaves. On his way, he sees a vision of the Sorcerer Supreme, and he tells him that he needs to let go of things. He tells him that the passing of his sister was not his fault and some things are out of our hands and we need to accept it and move on. Strange understands it and returns to his room. The next day, he persistently starts working again. He gets rewarded with a hot steam bath. Next, we see the Sorcerer Supreme having a vision of 2 monsters attacking the Sanctum Sanctorum from 2 different directions. This mystic being plans to do this to rule the earth. He orders a sorcerer Mordor to take everyone to one monster, eliminate it and move to the next monster. However, Mordor miscommunicates the orders to everyone, which resulted in the passing of fellow sorcerers. Meanwhile, the Old One teaches Doctor Strange some ancient magic. He tells that matter is energy, and this is the energy he needs to learn and control. Doctor Strange finally understands this and gets a grip on the magic. He sees that there is no wall, and he learned to create weapons out of thin air. After this, the Old One decides that Strange is ready to see what lies beyond. Following the fight, Wong and Mordo both come in front of the Old One. Wong says that he is manipulated and lied to, whereas Mordo says that he regrets nothing. He believes that the Sorcerer Supreme is too old and he needs to leave his seat and name the next Sorcerer Supreme. Meaning he, the Old One, rejects this idea and said his actions have proved that he does not deserve to be promoted to this position. Mordo asks the Old One, who will he give his title to? The Old One replies this position will go to someone who does not want it, and his job right now is to train that person. He names Dr. Stephen Strange to be the next Sorcerer Supreme. The next day, while training Strange, Mordo becomes very harsh and brutal, and it seems as if he was trying to eliminate him. Wong interferes and tells him to stop this madness. Wong offers his services to train Doctor Strange onwards, which he gladly accepts. They both train all the time. Doctor Strange completes his training and masters the ancient magic. Now the Sorcerer Supreme takes him to the Sanctum Sanctorum through a portal. The Old One explains that there are many thousands of dimensions in the world and that they are all on this earth, but because they exist in different dimensions, they can only access our dimension through a door. And Sanctum Sanctorum has all the doors from all the worlds in one place. It is the job of the Sorcerer Supreme and other sorcerers to protect it from evil. He then tells that an evil being, Dormammu, was once locked away in a different dimension, and he wanted to bring evil to this earth, which they could not allow. However, ever since he has been locked up, he has tried every way possible to break free. These monsters were also sent by him to get him free. Strange touches the lock on the door and sees the dark fiery being that he saw in the child's dream. He is frightened and tells that he had seen him before in the vision of a child. The Old One says that this is how he is trying to break himself free this time. The Old One instantly knew that this is how Dormammu plans to escape this time, as the mind of children can see into other dimensions. He will use their minds as a doorway to this world. Mordor suggests that they eliminate all these children to stop Dormammu from breaking free and entering this world, but the Old One says that this is not an option. Hurting innocent children can never be an option. Doctor Strange asks if he could help wake them up, if it would make any difference. The Old One replies yes. The door to this dimension will be shut and Dormammu would not be able to escape his dungeon. Strange reaches the hospital and makes Gina go to sleep. He then examines the records all over the city, showing that children all over the city suffer the same. Hospital coma wards are filled to capacity. After this, Strange tries to bring back a girl from his nightmare and is successful in his mission. He goes to help other kids while Mordo also enters the nightmare of a kid and talks to Dormammu and offers himself and a lackey to work for him. Dormammu accepts this offer. Later, Mordo attacks Strange, and he flees from there to free Dormammu. However, he did not know that Wong entered at the last moment and saved Doctor Strange from his attack. Meanwhile, the other sorcerers and the Old One are protecting the Sanctum Sanatorium from a monster that had released itself. Sorcerer Supreme tries to hold them off as long as she could, but Mordor came and eliminate him. Wong offers the Eye of Agamotto to Doctor Strange as the Old One wanted. Strange accepts it. Him and Wong try to stop Dormammu in Mordor. Wong wants to avenge the passing of his beloved masters. He attacks Mordor, but Mordor hurts him badly before he could eliminate him. Strange steps in to save him and throws him away with a powerful blow. Simultaneously, the kids gather around and break free Dormammu from the underworld. As soon as he gets put, he steals the Eye of Agamotto from Strange. Dormammu then uses the Eye of Agamotto to release all the beasts from the underworld into this world. Wong tells Strange to use this against him, as he is made of magic. Strange gets the eye back and uses it to absorb Dormammu's mystic energy, defeating him in the process. In the later scene, we can see Wong and Strange in the cemetery putting flowers to April's grave. They then go talk about the recruitment, as everyone was eliminated after the battle with Dormammu.